G'day YouTube, my name's Lance. Welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, the weather report. It's 6 o'clock Monday morning. It's 8 degrees. Overnight it got down to 6, but it should be 21 degrees today. Nice and sunny. Yesterday, the last few days have been lovely and sunny, and I'm starting to think I'm solar powered. when I'm out and it's rain and cloudy and shitty weather, I have trouble functioning probably. When I've got nice sunny days, I seem to get a breath of fresh air and a boost of energy, and away we go. So yeah, I could be solar powered, a fair chance. So they're lovely days for doing a little bit and getting out and looking after the paddock and things like that. So, pardon me. As you can see here, I've got the engine here. You can just see the cylinder head off the 65 there. I got the engine, or the head all assembled, ready to drop on yesterday morning, and I was going to film it Sunday morning, and the young blokes over the back there on the motorbikes, well, they must have had a motocross day at home, because the noise, and it was just coming through the shed here, and even though we have the microphones and the sound deadening, you can still see Peaks going in the background. So no filming went on yesterday for that, and I'm only shitty because I'm too old for it. Yeah, but I can remember, when we were a young bloke roaring around on motorbikes and just wringing its neck just because you felt good and you wanted to pull wheel stands and carry on. So the young blokes being young blokes, so you can't blame them for that. But I put a bit of a kibosh on filming anything yesterday. So, pardon me. So, so I packed up and went outside. So that was easy enough. And I've got bits and pieces to do, and as you may have guessed in the from the title on the video, I bought a new tractor. Hey, go on you, Lance. Look, this tractor's been on the go for a little while, and there's a bit of a yarn to it, I suppose. And I have a friend. I used to be service major at John Deere in town here 25 years ago now, and one of the blokes there I worked with, Coop, he's now the area manager for the RDO workshops, the RDO franchises in, look, I'm not sure how many, but in southeast Queensland up to Mackay or something like that, I believe. So he's the grand poobah to keep everything sorted out, and he's telling me the other day, there's 100 staff, that he has to look after and account for and things like that. But anyway, I run into Coop from time to time. We used to have a few barbies at each other's place, and he's just an all-round good fella. And he messaged me a couple of months ago now, and he said, look, we got this bloke wants to trade this old Massey in. Are you interested in it? He says, it's not something we want to take on as a dealership. And I said, oh yeah, I suppose. Coop, send me a photo. So he sent me a photo of one side of this tractor, and it looked like a 135. And I said, yeah, all right, what sort of money? And he said, oh, pardon me. I was slashing the paddock yesterday, I'm a bit chesty again. And he said, I says, well, $4,000 all right for that, you think? And I said, I suppose so. Yeah, it looked like it had good rubber and things like that on it. So he said, leave it with me, I'll see what happens. And that was it. I didn't hear from him for, quite a number of weeks. And about a week or 10 days ago, he says, hey, you still want to go on that tractor? He says, and I said, oh yeah, I'll have a crack at that for sure. And he said, he said originally they didn't want to trade it. The man that traded this tractor in, he wanted a new small John Deere with a front end loader, and so what they were trying to arrange with him was that I'd go and deal directly with him and buy the tractor. Pardon me. I'd deal directly with this man and buy the tractor down at Caboolture, and they'd give him a deal on a clean skin tractor, so no trade. But the fella didn't want that. He said, no, I want to trade me tractor in. People do things for different reasons, finance or whatever it may be. And so they said, oh, well, we're not going to give you as much as he'd give you cash sort of thing, as in dealing direct. And he said, oh, that's all right. So anyway, I got the phone call and they said, look, we've got that tractor in the yard down here. We'll send you a couple more photos of it. Pardon me. But the price has changed. And I thought, oh, it never changes in the right direction. But anyway, I said, yeah, okay. So he sent some photos through and he said, look, the price changed. He said, as a dealership, we don't want to get involved in these old tractors. It hasn't got the proper roll frame on it. And to sell that out again, you've got to service it and make sure it's right. And this thing had steering slop and a few things, and they didn't want to get involved with it. There was just no money. It wasn't a financially viable option for them. So he said, we offered the bloke $3,000 and plus GST. So he said, your $4,000's down to $3,300. And I said, sounds bloody lovely. He said, we're just passing it on. He said, we just want it out of here. So I sent him the money. I direct deposited the money, and he sent me the photos, and turns out it's a 148, which is a bonus for sure. And look, it's a tidy little tractor. I didn't know at the time. I just bought it off a couple of photos, and I said to him, it does run, doesn't it? And he said, yeah, it runs. And he said, I haven't seen it myself. He said the salesman that did the job took a few photos. He said it starts and runs okay. So, so he said, it is what it is. He says, we've priced it accordingly. And, pardon me. He said, we priced it accordingly. And he said, it is what it is, with all faults and things like that. And I've got to sign a release just saying it's for restoration purposes. It's not sold as a working tractor on a farm or anything like that. It's sold as a tractor that needs restoring. So, I got a couple of prices. One bloke wanted $800 to bring it up on a truck. Then, Bundaberg Towing in town here, they go down to Brisbane quite a lot. So I got on to them and they said, oh, about $550 to bring it home. And anyway, so I got on to Coop and I said, look, don't worry about getting, because he was going to get me some quotes. And I said, don't worry about getting some quotes. Bundy Towing have offered to do it for $550. I think that's fair, so I'll just go with that. And he rang me up a couple of hours later and he said, I'll do it for $440. And I said, what's going on? And he said, no, he says, they have a truck at Caboolture. They had to take some stuff from Caboolture to Gympie, then get some stuff from Gympie to Bundaberg, then there was some stuff in Bundaberg branch that they had to get back to Gympie. So he said, we got a truck doing the run. So he said, it's no trouble to put that tractor on the back. And he said, if we can get a few $100 out of you for doing it, he said, well, that pays for their running around for the day. So I said, yeah, look, that's lovely. Yeah, I'll go with that. Another $100 saved. So I've ended up with this little 148 for, what's that, $3,740, which is a good deal. And it was one of those things, it's a bit of a gamble. You don't know how you're going to go when you do these things, but if the price is right, you take the risk. So that's what I work on anyway. So I got the tractor home and it got delivered Friday, and I had to walk around and I hadn't had a bath in a long time by the looks. And there's a few things. I pulled the dipstick and the oil was clean, quite clean. And I thought, oh, that's all right. The oil in the back end's a little milky, but the hydraulics seem to work okay. And we'll give it a good service anyway. But Saturday, I thought, I'll just give this old girl a bit of a pressure clean up. So I run it up and had a look around, and I could see there was a couple of problems. Where the main battery wire goes onto the starter motor, that was loose, and when you hit the key it would smoke. The manifold heater there's a little nut on them, and it had come loose, and it was slopping around like a cock in a sock. And it was smoking when you hit the key as well. The little tube that comes, it's a paper element air cleaner, it's not an oil bath. There's a little tube from the air cleaner that goes up to a restriction indicator on the dash. It's not there at all. And so, anyway, I degreased it all down and give it a bit of a pressure clean. And the tacho had 149 or 7 hours on it. And it's a new tacho with a metric tacho, so it's an aftermarket one, I believe. And I had a look, and there's a new cable and, you know, all that. So I pressure cleaned this old tractor down, and the mess down the left-hand side near the injection pump was an injector, and the big nut on the injector was loose, and so I loosened the top of the return line, and I put a shifter on, try and give it a bit of a bougie, and I wasn't sure that I'd fixed it, but I'll have a look shortly when I take the camera out, but I think I have. And but the interesting thing is, when I pressure cleaned it, you can see new gaskets everywhere around the engine. So I believe, we don't know the story of the tractor, but we're thinking the fella might have bought a farm and it was on it, and someone had done an engine rebuild or something on it. I noticed when I first started it, it was a little bit wispy out the exhaust, but once you gave it a bit of work, I got it warm, it cleaned up nicely. So having a look around, it's had the injectors serviced. They've been serviced that recently that there's no rust on them. You know, they've been no paint left on them, but from going through the cleaning process, but they haven't rusted yet. The cylinder head's been off, hot tubbed and serviced, and there's no rust on that yet on the machine surfaces. The injection pump, it's been through the mill as well, and it's got the later model top cover on it, so someone's replaced the top cover. And yeah, where the oil filter housing bolts on, there's a new gasket. There's a new gasket, you can just see, and I think it's a Bearco gasket because they're blue. And behind the timing cover, there's new gaskets, and you can see on where the clutch pedal is, where they've had the pin out of there, and they've put a split pin in but haven't chopped the ends off. So it appears to have had an engine job. And look, it runs fine. And so before I put it to work yesterday, I fixed a couple of little things. There's still a few to do, and I thought I would put it to work slashing or topping. So I got the slasher, a 5-foot slasher off the John Deere, and popped it on the 148, and off we went. And yeah, look, it went fine. It hasn't got power steering. It's a little bit harder to steer than the John Deere, because the John Deere's power steering, you know, even though it's four-wheel drive, power steer. A little bit harder to steer, plenty of power to do the job. The paddock was a little bit wet to slash, really. You know, the tyres were coming up wet that just hadn't drained away. But I thought, I just wanted it to knuckle in a bit, because I wasn't sure it hadn't been just idling around. It had a bit of copper spray on it or something from, you know, spraying trees. So we have no idea what work it's ever done in its life before. The steering has got a bit of slop in it. It needs new tie rod ends. The front axle moves a little bit, so it probably needs new bushes in the front axle. And yeah, look, probably wheel bearings, kingpins, steering knuckles, things like that. The pedals have no wear in them worth talking of. The foot plates are good. So yeah, look, it seems to be a good old tractor. Underneath, the 148, well, on the 35 135, where the linkage arms go on, there's a pin comes out the bottom of your final drive. And on the 148, it's got another little housing and a support under the diff, and the arms go a little lower. I don't know why. Probably, on Facebook we're talking about probably because a lot of them have 32-inch wheels over in the UK, I believe, but our tractor has what I believe to be the original Olympic gripsters, 13.6 28s, and the Olympic Trojans maybe on the front, 616s. I believe it's got the original rubber, so it hasn't done any scratching anyway. Whatever it's done, it's been either on a spray or something like that. There is wear in the balls of the linkage arms. It'll be 50 years old next year. It's 1973. There's a bit of wear in the balls, but the PDO shaft's not worn. So who knows? But I didn't have a 148, so now I do. I mean, and it hit the market at the right price, so I thought, bugger it, I'll jump in and grab this thing, and yeah, why not, you know? Just have a bit of fun with it. I think the plan will be get it mechanically sound, not a full restoration. We'll just get it mechanically sound, service it up. Oh, I pulled the air cleaners out. I thought, I wonder if these have been serviced. Brand new elements in the air cleaners, new fuel filters. So I don't know, someone's done quite a bit of work with it, with the engine, new water pump on it, new alternator. So yeah, might have got a bit lucky. But yeah, the long-term plan for the tractor is to use it around the paddock here, just as an extra tractor, and get it mechanically sound. Yeah, do the steering. I'll probably pull the steering box off and that. I do have the power steering kit off the 135 trekking tractor. Perhaps I could put that on. And over time, I'll get to a stage one day where I'll just strip it and paint it. It has had a paint job at some stage, and yeah, look, it could do with another one. Yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, we'll worry about that. We'll just use it around the place. I just want to work on the 65 at the moment. I don't want to go pulling another tractor apart. No need. Talking to John Dudley, my mate that owns the 1929 McCormick Deering engine just over here. He got onto 4 new conrods just this last week with 4 new bearing shells. So once we get them in, we haven't been doing anything on that much. We've been waiting on getting direction where we can find parts and where we can't and things like that. So hopefully in a week or so I'll have the conrods. I'll measure them up, make sure they're good to go, and then we can put our order in to the States for parts. And so that'll keep that one moving along. That's an interesting little project, I reckon. I'm sort of enjoying playing with that. Today I'm going to get this bloody head on the tractor. The cam followers, they've got brand new Sparex cam followers because my old ones had lines across them, but some big-fisted bastard on the adjusting nuts on the top, they've nipped them up that tight. They've buggered the threads on the adjusting bolts. So I had a look in the book yesterday. Sparex don't sell them. I'll talk to Jacobson's Engineering, the Perkins people in town, and see if I can see if they can order me some in. We'll put a full set on the tractor, so I'll be able to get the head on, tension down and all that today, but I won't be able to get the rocker gear on or anything like that, which no big deal. That's fine. I finished all the carbies I had to do for John Blundell. I finished all them. He's put the money in the bank, he tells me. I haven't even looked. So yeah, those carbies are gone, so that'll free me up a little bit more. They took some time. Oh, those carbies, they had seized choke shafts in them. Oh, man, I had trouble with some of them. I had to die grind shafts through to get them out. And I do a set price of $150 labour for a carbie. Well, some of those carbies, 6 and 8 hours I'd spend on one carbie, but it doesn't matter. A deal's a deal. Hopefully that he gets a good run out of them, and that'll get him going. Still got a little cough around, not too bad, but it wasn't too bad until I started slashing yesterday, and I probably got some grass seeds down my neck. Sparex sent me a little gear puller the other day. It's a neat little thing. It's just got a square bar up here, and the square bar's got a taper inside, and as the taper pushes up, it spreads the legs on the puller. So there's another one coming, a different size, and we're going to use it for the gearbox on the 65 when we get there. So yeah, look, looks okay. Look, it's made in China for sure, or India, one of those places. It's but yeah, look, looks okay. You'll see that in use soon. a lot of people, I get a lot of private messages, emails and all that, and particularly that set of discs I use for bashing in bearings and bushes and seals and things. Where do I get that? And some people pick on me for having it. Oh, you know, it's all right, everyone hasn't got that. But we've set up with Amazon as with an Amazon affiliate program. So what that does, any tools I use, like my tension wrench and my feeler gauges that I used for checking the ring gap. If you look back at the last couple of videos, in the description you'll see, in the description it says the feeler gauges I used can be bought at Amazon here. That's not where I bought mine, but the deal with Amazon is a lot of the stuff that I use, and those discs and the bearing, the aluminium bearing fitting punch set and hole punches and all that can be got from Amazon. So the exact kit that I have with those discs is on Amazon. And so what I'm going to do with Amazon is when I use a particular tool in a video, I'll probably try and put something in the description of each video. Now, in the affiliate program, I do get a little bit of a kickback out of it, but it's like 3% and 3 and 5%. It's jack shit, but it might help some of the questions on where I get me bits and pieces and things like that. Like I've put the feeler gauges out there. I think I've put the discs out there. There's a few other things coming out, but if you like to buy off Amazon and you want to help the channel, if you go to one of the videos and just hop in and click on one of those links, well, that'll take you into Amazon, and then you can buy whatever you like. And they know that you come in through Bundy Bear's front door. So I think I'll get a kickback there. Anyway, it's not all about the money, really. Money's good, it helps. But, and I couldn't find, the other day when I put the pistons in this engine, I couldn't find one of these ring compressors. I found one that will do the job that I have, so I put a link to a ring compressor I know that works, but I couldn't find this little fella, and I get quite a few questions about that. But so yeah, the Amazon affiliate program, yeah, we're working with that. It's just one of those things we're going to, yeah, the amount of questions I get for some of that stuff, where do you get this? And I think I originally bought my disc set off eBay. But anyway, with the Amazon thing, I'm going to try and put links to what I'm using, where I'm using it and all that. And it may help you out. It may fill the gap for some, that may put a bit more revenue into Bundy Bear's shed. We do make a couple of bob from Google on Bundy Bear's shed, and I don't spend it normally, I tuck it away, and that's what bought that 148. So I had a couple of thousand, few grand put aside from the ad revenue from Google, and that's what bought the 148. So how good is that? Yeah, it all sort of works together. But look, sit tight. I think this, yep, the sun's up outside. I'll take the tripod and the camera out, and then yeah, I'll show you this little 148. Well, there you go. What a cracker. Look, the panels are straight, as in the bonnet and all straight. I think the weight frame on the front there has protected the nose cone. The lights haven't got bulbs in them, I notice. We have the Australian pre-cleaner set up here. It needs a couple of catches here. Has a hot dog exhaust. I hate those bloody things. That won't be on for long. The steering wheel's quite worn. We'll put a new steering wheel on. The guards are a bit banged up at the back, but it's not too bad. It needs gear stick boots. The lift cover here has been off, as has the PDO lever on the side there. The hydraulics work okay. I can lift the slasher and turn the tractor off, and they go down, but it's quite a slow rate, so I think that's good. I've got 151 hours on the clock. Oh, it's nearly new. On the steering box, there's on the 35 135 148, there's a Welsh plug on the side of the steering box. One must have leaked because that's full of silicon there. The fuel pump, well, there's a bit of a gap there now. Yeah, the fuel pump, you can see it's been all tidied up. There's a new top, the whole body's been looked at, and I'm pretty sure that's all pretty well new. I'll just go handheld for a second, and I'll bring you in closer for a look. So yeah, the injection pump's been sorted. You can't see up in there, but the head's been off and it's still nice and clean. New fuel tap, that was dripping. It doesn't look too bad. And the rear injector was leaking, but I've nipped that up. I think it's, oh, there's still a little bit on my finger there. I've probably still got a bit to do there. Yeah, on the timing cover there you can see new gaskets. There's a new bit of gasket there that I've pressure cleaned, so it doesn't look new anymore. The front axle there on the steering, you can see that that's been loose at some stage, and you can see it's not sitting real well. You can see the bolts have been loose and chowdered up, all that. So I'll probably have a look at that, and you can see where it's sort of worn there. So I'm thinking of jacking it up. We'll move this inner hole so we're not on a worn patch, and I think that'll be okay. It needs a new grill badge, that's okay. Needs a new 148 emblem there. Now it does have a bit of front end slop. You can see that axle move there. So, and that appears that the pin is moving at the front, not the back. And there is a bit of tire head movement there. That's nothing. Yeah, you can see down the side there that there's that's been off. The top's off. And look, the hydraulics work well. You can't complain about it. The rubber is original. I'm sure it's original. This wheel around the rim there, they were loose. Some of them come up a good full 2 turns. That's these bolts here. I could just see a bit of fretting, so I had a look, and yep, that needed sorting out. So that's done. The roll frame is a homemade one. That's part of the reason it had to be sold for restoration purposes only. I don't know what's happened here, but that looks a bit second-hand. And the back of the tractor's not too bad. All the axle seals leak. Oh, the rear axle seals leak on both sides. Looks like it's got a blue yoke on the lift arm there. But look, everything's okay, not too worn. You can see in that one of the screws down the bottom of the brake plate there is loose, and there's a bolt missing from up the top there, so I don't know what the story is there. You can see the difference in how the linkage arms bolt on a 148. Now that plate underneath there, whoever's taken the drawbar off it didn't put the nuts back on, so I've only got one nut there until I can get to work and get some. This other guard has a little rust in it just there, but it's pretty straight, so that's a good thing. This wheel was tight, but yeah, it had quite a bit of oil on it from the axle seal leaking. She's got the diff lock, and this section here, the extra wheelbase on the 148 makes them nicer to drive. Gives you that bit more leg room. It's had some sort of hydraulics on it. There's a outlet here for the changeover valve, and there's a return up the back there. So what's been there, I have no clue. A lot of Fergies, all these levers, even though they work, they're all bent up and buggered around with, so I don't know what goes on there. A grandma seat. Yeah, worn steering wheel. This panel's here, which is good. Yeah, air cleaner. Now this screw here, that was all loose and smoking. I've tightened all that up. See this here? That's today's job. I do have one of those now. I had one in my goodies, so that'll be getting replaced. Where that's been leaking diesel, this hose here is a bit soft, so we'll put a new hose on. What do you reckon? Hey, bloody big helper. Yeah. Yeah, they've put an alternator on it. It's got a new water pump, and the water pumps, can you see that? I don't know. It's that recent that it hasn't started to rust yet, so actually that bolt there, that bolt's got a washer on it, but it's not the full nut. This one here, so I might have to check that out by the looks. They probably had the front end out to do the job and got things ballsed up. Who knows? And yeah, there's a bit of panel damage there. But all in all, I tried to get the grill out yesterday and I can't get it out. You can see that coppery colour. That's the copper spray. So we'll just have to see. But yeah, look, I will be starting a playlist for this tractor, and it'll just be Massey Ferguson 148 playlist, and as we do bits and pieces to it over time, yeah, we'll just bring you along for the ride. So like I say, it's not going to be a full restoration. It's just going to be what needs to be done to keep it going, but later on it'll get a paint, but certainly no hurry to do that. It handles that 5-foot slasher that I made, no worries. So yeah, there you go. That's a look at the 148. And there you go. That's all the carbies I've finished just recently. So we've got F14, Farm All M's. They're all Farm Alls pretty well, but they're all ready now to pack up and go home. They're all the pipes for the 65s for the for between radiator hoses to the front. I've got to get them and paint them yet. That's been a job on the never. And up on the bench here, I've been pulling this old head apart, and because Sparex gave us a new head, I haven't really even looked at that, but I do have to get these rocker studs out. And oh, the exhaust manifold studs. That stud there, you can see where the exhaust manifold must have been loose, and it's been loose for that long that it's worn probably 2 or 3 millimeters of that exhaust stud out. So I've got to put new exhaust studs in. I've got some at the shop, I just have to pick them up. But I haven't done the injectors yet or anything like that. May get to that today. Just see how we go. Well, there you go. That's what's happened in Bundy Bear's shed for the week. It's been quite a busy week. Yeah, getting the paddock slashed, and I got all the mowing done, the rider mowing. I got that done Friday afternoon, and yeah, got the slashing done with the new tractor. So, the pump on the dam had been playing up, so I fixed that up, and yeah. Oh, and I've had a little fire out the front burning pellets from work all weekend. So it's been an interesting and a busy weekend. Today now sounds like I should be able to get this head on, get that filmed, and keep this going, keep the series going. Things like, you know, those screws being damaged, I probably should have pulled that out ages ago. I had the opportunity to, but I thought, oh no, I'll just leave it all in the old head so I don't lose anything, and yeah, now it's going to slow us up, but doesn't matter. I can always tip him over. I've got oil pumps to put on and timing covers to put on. And the reason I haven't got the timing cover on, the washer that goes in front of that gear, I've sat it somewhere. I can't find the bloody thing. It's and I have places for things, and I don't know. I had to machine up the pulley and the seal surface on the pulley up in my little workshop up in the little machine shop. So I'll have a look up there. It may just be sitting up there, but I don't know. I don't sort of take anything out of the shed anywhere normally, but that washer's got me beat just at the moment. I've got the O-ring and all that. It's ready to go apart from that washer, so I can get the front on, I can tip him up, and I can start putting the oil pump on and all that sort of thing while we're waiting on those screws. So I'll ring Jacobson's Engineering this morning and get that happening, so hopefully we'll have them by next weekend. So look, that's it for this week. Thanks for dropping by. Don't forget the Amazon affiliate thing. If you want to buy anything off Amazon, try and jump in through the Bundy Bear's Shed thing. It'll be a help. Yeah, and hopefully it helps you gear up. Yeah, any little bits and pieces you want, we can work together and I can find stuff. Yes, I have Amazon Prime and it's got movies and that. No, but we don't watch movies much. We watch YouTube. So anything you want, give us a yell. I may be able to sort something out there or find something. But best contact, bundybearsshed@gmail.com. And even for any repair stuff, I've got a lot of documents, a lot of manuals, a lot of bits and pieces tucked away. But YouTube Messenger's good. Like, YouTube likes to know that everyone's watching. They like comments and things like that. It helps. But if you want a bit of information, it's probably better to go to bundybearsshed@gmail.com. The email system gives us more scope, as in sending a photo or something like that. So anyway, so there you go. Thanks for dropping by once again. I'll shut up and start getting this head on. I've got the Hylamar spray ready to spray me head gasket, and we'll sit him on ready to go. And we'll catch you all next week, eh? See ya.